As we are going to be meeting up here with some of the other casters, we are running out of games. Just to touch on something that was being said earlier in the chat, some people were asking like, oh, like, you know, what's going on with who's casting what. Typically in the early rounds, all the casters we try to split up so we can cover as many games as possible. I believe Steadfast was casting Dark and Gumiho towards the south. Meanwhile, Chicken Man was casting Cure and Oliveira into Hero towards the northern portion of the map. Northern portion of the bracket. But now we're all slowly converging. We're all coming together.
Yeah, I like it. We get separated at the start, but eventually we find our way. We find our way back.
Oh,
it's just like Aladdin. Anyway, we are going to be jumping into this best of 3 semifinals. Oh, we could get. No, I think it's too late for predictions. Anyway, we're going to be jumping into this best of 3 semifinals. We're in the top left-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in that top left-hand corner of Gresvan, the cinematic map. We have our red Zerg player coming down from the land of Korea. He, of course, is going to be representing Alpha X. Those Alpha X boys coming in hot today. He is RagnaroK.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Gresvan, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Terran player representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming, DPG. It is Cure. As I'm trying desperately to set up the predictions.
Oh, okay. I'll abide time. Well, yeah, I'm definitely glad that we are able to see Gresvan here, not just because it's a bit of an interesting map, but also because we actually have a Terran player in this matchup, and I want to see how to exploit this map as a Terran player.
True. I want to see it as well. Again, if you want to see Cure be the hero killer, the hero sniper, and take him down, I believe Chicken Man was casting him, so you can check out his wonderful VODs on Twitch. But here we are in RagnaroK versus Cure, and oh boy, RagnaroK, he's a very different kind of player. Amongst even the Zergs, RagnaroK can be very cheesy, he can be hyper aggressive, he can be very tricky to play against.
And there's a reason we call him, for the longest time, the biggest brain in Korea. I think the biggest brain of Zerg overall as well.
Oof. Yeah, definitely. You know, a lot of people do look to him for innovation. Miyamaka doesn't. You know, Miyamaka looks to himself and sometimes Dark. He looks internally inside himself, Papi.
He looks inside himself and he looks up above.
Oh. He doesn't look down below.
Inspiration.
Yeah.
No, that's too evil.
Oh my god, but we'll see how this plays out. So far, Cure has a really great start. This is a massive delay on the third hatchery for RagnaroK.
Yeah, and he's almost getting in the delay. Actually, does get the additional delay. He's actually forcing RagnaroK to body block himself with that queen in position. Little bit of supply cap because, of course, as a Zerg player, you're hoping for your third hatchery to give you whatever supply you need at this point.
Yeah,
this is pretty massive.
Exactly. Like, I don't want to understate how detrimental it can be to have your third base delayed, because it slows down your queen production, it slows down your creep shred, it slows down your overall production as well when it comes to drones because of your lack of larva. So a good start. We can see the supply block coming into play as well. So already a good start for Cure.
But that wall is not a wall. Yeah, it's a great start for Cure coming down, but let's see how he utilizes this Banshee coming up to support these Hellions. Now, we are seeing this come up every now and then, but it's still not too common. I'm just wondering if we'll see an Armory behind this.
Yeah, so we have a 3cc Banshee opener here from Cure, so very economic. Also very safe against Roach aggression. As you are well aware, Banshees are exactly what you want against Roach pushes, so Cure just playing very economic and also very safe at the same time. It does mean that he's not going to have too much map presence. He's going to be able to harass with the Banshees, sure, and he's going to have some Hellions, but RagnaroK is going to have a decent amount of time here to kind of rebuild what he has been losing. As he actually does make a lot of Lings here as well, just a little bit paranoid about Hellion run bites.
Look at how long that distance Lings have to run
I know.
by that Wallace. It's like they're doing full laps.
It's crazy. Like the gap here. Like, I mean, we're gonna be able to fill it out with like maybe a fourth CC, or there's no way. Like, Kyr's already got his third, so we'll see how this all kind of pans out. Meanwhile, from this 1-1-1, we do see bioplay. Thankfully, not mech.
Whew. Thank God. You know, despite this map seeming to be really good for tanks, I imagine you could even put tanks behind the vents. Oh.
I'm sure you could. Meanwhile, Kyr flying a little bit too close to the sun does confirm the Lings at the natural, so he's not going to find a way in. Will end up losing his Reaper, but, you know, he's able to poke and prod and just confirm that RagnaroK isn't getting away with just pure drones.
Yeah, at least for the time being, we do see that RagnaroK is now transitioning to his lair tech, finishing up a Baneling Nest, and starting up a Spire.
Yeah, RagnaroK actually is taking every single one of his gases, so if this is scouted, that is a massive tell. Even if the Spire isn't seen, then Kyr should be able to piece things together. Meanwhile, the Banshees dip into the main base, looking to try and find a little bit of damage at the same time. Oh, the Hellions are being caught out by the Queens.
Yeah, just preventing these Hellions from really diving in, getting any sort of damage. Any sort of damage, scouting information, or even clearing up creep threat. To be fair, RagnaroK's creep hasn't gone insane yet, but you still want to make use of these Hellions somehow. Kyr, I think, has seen the gases in this third base, but I'm not sure if he's really been able to glean enough information from that.
Yeah, the problem is that sometimes you can be faked out. There are Zerg players that even if they just go 4 gases, so just Ling Bane, they skip the gases at the natural and they put their gases at the third just to be a little bit deceiving to their opponents. So Kyr just hasn't confirmed the overall gas count, and oh, the Hellions are going to get surrounded.
Not quite like so. Kyr, with looped up Hellions, is able to find a bit of a choke point, and he shaves off a lot of Lings, but the Hellions do go down in the end. That was Kyr's entire map presence until these drops.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there are still Banshees, thankfully, but there are still no missile turrets in the main bases. Again, the mutas have not been scouted, and mutas are now on the way, so this can be devastating here. These mutas, they are going to be catching Kyr off guard, and it's going to be all about how quickly he can react in the moment.
Yeah, and thankfully he is still getting Widow Mines. You know, he correctly identified that Ling Bane was what he had to deal with.
Ooh.
But like we said, he hasn't seen the Mutalisk until now.
Yeah, and here we go. RagnaroK, he's looking to hunt down these drops, and it looks like he will get one of them, maybe even both of them. The Marines are forced to evacuate. We have to unload.
Yeah, one medevac with about half of its cargo will survive in the end. Mines are armed. And do get some decent damage. I mean, it gets a couple of Banelings, and I think there was some splash onto the Mutas as well. I don't think RagnaroK's going to be able to break this position, but he does delay the push from Kyr for quite a bit.
Yeah, RagnaroK diving on top of the medevac in the beginning was good. I do think that this was a pretty major overextension. We traded a lot of Banelings for a handful of Marines. Like, that was not really what we were looking for. So, and on top of that, the mutas were spent, you know, being aggressive, not harassing, so Kyr has had plenty of time to throw down turrets.
Yeah, just look at the Workers Lost tab. 11 Banelings going down. That's 11 Banelings that did not connect with anything.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Exactly. I mean, there's still a large muta count, don't get us wrong, but again, because Kyr has been able to respond, we have not just turrets on the way, we have Thors on the way, we have drilling claws as well for the Widow Mines. Like, these mutas haven't done as much as we thought they would.
Oh my lord.
Up!
Yeah, Marines are able to catch off quite a number of Mutalisks over here. Getting a little bit of an opening. The Sensor Tower, the range is so tiny now. It's kind of cute, actually. Look at the minimap.
Yeah, the Sensor Tower is going to be able to cover at least the base itself. Unfortunately, we have a little bit of dead area or dead space towards the south, so that could be used by these mutas. Bearing in mind that RagnaroK is still committed to Ling Bane muta, he remakes the mutas that he lost, and he's going to try and come in. Oh, it looks like he doesn't get the medevac.
He doesn't, and he takes a mine shot to the face. Thor is able to clean up a lot of mutas that were previously weakened to that.
exactly. I mean, RagnaroK, his economy is still quite strong. Don't get us wrong. He's up to 90 drones. Like, his drone count is exactly where he wants it to be. But because he prioritized so much on his mutas, he's behind in other aspects. He's still working on his upgrades. He's still trying to catch up with 2-2. He's still trying to work on his hive as well. So because of that, Kira's going to have a bit of an upgrade advantage, a bit of an upgrade opportunity here once he does max out. But he has to be careful not to be caught out here.
Yeah, again, this is... as good as this map may be for tanks and Widow Mines, it's still a very wide open map and yeah, prone to getting surrounded by Ling Bane. I will say that it feels like RagnaroK is on a little bit of a timer, like you said. You know, he has full map control for the time being, but if this game goes on and he doesn't tech up, Cure is just going to max out and A-move stim across the map. I do appreciate that he's getting his hive now, though.
Oh, yeah, the hive is on the way. Meanwhile, massive run by here at the fourth base of Cure. The Bailings roll on in. The army was not in position. The mineral line is going to go down as well as the planetary.
Yeah, but a lot of Bailings go down, though. And now Cure's in a position to counterattack.
He is, and he has to be honest. Like, his hand is being forced right now. He can expand behind this, sure, but he has to do some damage before those Bailings are rebuilt.
And they are being rebuilt slowly but surely. Let's be very careful with his Widow Mines as well. He doesn't want to waste them. That's his only form of splash damage. He does have quite a number of Marauders now, and yeah, the Banelings do connect with the Marauders as opposed to the Marines.
Yeah, but we have another wave of Ling Bane. The Thors are going to try their best to try and buffer here and soak up whatever they can, but the Banelings are rolling on through the Thors. Oh, they actually hold on.
Yeah, those are some really impressive splits right at the end there from Cure as well. I think RagnaroK was able to get quite a bit of damage done. He was able to shave off a lot of the Bioforce, but Cure is still in this. He is still looking to keep pushing.
He is still in this. Pretty committed, though. He still doesn't have a 4th CC, by the way, but the Ling Bane comes in from all angles. We have a mass surround, and Cure is going to lose his army.
Yeah, not remaking that 4th is absolutely huge right now for RagnaroK, at least economically. It was also a little bit of an anti-timing. I think Cure pushed in before his 3-3 upgrades finished up. Although, to be fair, you could argue that he had to push.
GG gets called. Yeah, the pressure was on Cure. He had to do damage. If he waited for 3-3, then it may just have been too late. And RagnaroK takes game number 1.
With 566 APM. That's a lot.
It's a lot of APM.
That's Oreo levels.
Oh my god.
Okay, not quite Oreo levels.
Oh, and
new map.
We have a new map. Oh my god.
Yeah. This is the map that's a tie-in to the new WoW expansion.
Oh. Shadowlands.
First there was the flight. Now there are the scales.
Yes, exactly. We are loading in for the first time today on Dragon Scales. Oh boy, so I'm pretty excited about this. Of course, it would be a new map when we have RagnaroK involved, of course.
Yeah.
Ooh, as I believe this is one of the smaller maps in the map pool.
It is deceptively small, despite what its name might suggest, yeah. But we are, just going to be taking a quick little look-see here at what features this map has as we load into Dragon Scales. We're in the bottom right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom right-hand corner. We have our red Zerg player coming out from the land of Korea. He is the biggest brain in all of StarCraft 2, representing Alpha X. He is RagnaroK.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Dragon Scales, we have the South Korean Terran player representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming, DPG. It is Cure.
Yeah, new map on the way, a very, very small map as well, so we could get into a lot more split map scenarios. There aren't too many bases here compared to Ancient Cistern or even Gesvan, just from what we've been able to see.
Yeah. I'm trying to piece this together here, especially because there are still maps that we haven't been able to see yet. But I believe the rush distance on Dragon Scales is one of the shortest. Let me just double check here. Oh, it is. Oh no, never mind. There's even small. There's smaller ones. Yeah, there's smaller ones that we haven't seen yet. Never mind.
There we go. Yeah, I mean the map itself is pretty small, but I think the rush distance does snake around a little bit. So it does, add a little bit more length, a little bit more distance into the equation. That's math.
Yeah, that it does. Oh boy. So we'll see how that all kind of comes into play here. This is one of the few maps in the map pool where we have a ramp coming into the natural. You love it to see it. We also have a return of that pillar here at the natural as well. Oh, we're back.
It's been so long. I'm just curious as to why it's called Dragon Scale, because I don't see too many dragons. I think maybe there's like a skeleton in the main base, but other than that, like behind the dead air.
Yeah, there's like,
I know that's like rocks.
Yeah, this is. I'm getting like Lion King vibes of like Pride Rock, you know? Or no,
yeah,
sorry.
That's. Not Pride Rock, but the one that that spoilers gets thrown off of.
Kind of the place where Simba gets lost, you know? It's like the Deadlands or whatever.
The hyena place.
Yeah, there you go.
Hyena Town.
That's what they called it. Yeah, it's true. Oh my god. But we'll see how this all kind of comes into play. For the time being, once again, we have a 3cc opener here from Cure. 3cc Banshee is what we had last game. We'll see if we get more of the same here in game number 2.
Yeah, so far very economic openers coming out from Cure. Now we'll see what he intends to utilize this time. Again, it's a much smaller rush distance than on... I think we were just on Guest Fun, weren't we? Yeah, much smaller rush distance than on Guest Fun, so... I was going to say, I wouldn't be surprised if he went into Banshees again, and if he got an Armory this time to go for a bit of a Banshee Hellbat timing, but it's a lot more safe and a lot more standard coming up from Cure this time with that Viking.
Yeah, so I'm a little bit concerned because he's going for a Viking first. It's possible that he's not going to go for an add-on switch, so he's going to skip Banshees this time. And it just so happens to be the case that here in game number 2 is when he needs Banshees the most, because RagnaroK is going for a Roach Push.
That's what happens when your Reaper Scout gets completely denied. Reaper didn't die, but RagnaroK just did such a good job of zoning it away and making sure that there was always a threat of dying. I'm sure with this Viking and with this Scout coming out from RagnaroK, he is just over the moon right now.
Yeah, I think this was just confirmation. He saw Stim being researched as I think it was just cancelled and restarted. So unfortunately, Cure, he's not going to have tanks. He's not going to have Banshees. He will have a Liberator, but I'm sure the Liberator is going to go across the map to harass. And RagnaroK, these Roaches have a lot of potential to do a lot of damage.
I think they're just going to end the game. Again, short rush distance.
They really could. They really could, but we'll see here as we do have the Hellions getting ready for a bit of a run by. I'm sure RagnaroK wants to wait and deflect the Hellions first as the Roaches move out and the Hellions move in.
Yeah, in fairness though, that is a lot of Hellions. While they shouldn't be able to take out the Roaches, they can at least buy Cure a little bit of time. Not if he sends them into the main bases, however. He's going up a ramp, and he has only traded with Ling so far. He has not gotten the economic damage he needs, and he's about to take a lot of economic damage across the map. We do have a couple of bunkers in production right now.
We do have bunkers on the way. We do have Ravagers being morphed in. The boys are being pulled, and the Lings are flooding across the map. Thankfully, right now, Q doesn't have to worry about those reinforcements, but in come those Ravagers.
Yeah, oh, nice dodge on one of those Biles. Bunkers will be filled with Marines, but Marines alone, they're not the best against Roaches, even if you put them in a bunker, and they're even worse against Lings because they just run around the bunker and get all of this all of this game-ending damage.
Look at this.
Frankly.
Yeah, RagnaroK, he doesn't care about the bunker. He's like, okay, you can hold on to the natural. I'm just going to bust into your main instead. And we can see that he's getting on top of the production, and there's not really much here to defend. It looks like the Lynx are running out, though, and the Roaches don't have too much HP left.
I'm surprised that RagnaroK decided to let this game go on. He's getting a lair, and he's throwing down his Evo chambers. He's droning up instead of getting more army units. But by this point, he's effectively crippled Cure so much that it's going to take a miracle for him to get back in this game.
Yeah, the reality is that RagnaroK, he could have continued to make Lings and Roaches, and he could have flooded, and he probably could have killed Cure. Let's be honest, like this is what he has left. Just a handful of Marines without medevac support. Instead, RagnaroK wants to be a little bit more secure, and because of that, he is far ahead economically, and now he is free to make an army without, being afraid of maybe even throwing a lead.
This is just like the Lion King.
Oh.
Somehow, I don't know.
Isma. Ay. There we go, as we have 1-1 on the way here. We do see Cure pushing out with his army, and he has to. The pressure is on him to do some damage, and I'm sure he's hoping that maybe RagnaroK was being greedy and was maybe over-droning, but we can see that there's barely enough units here to hold.
Yeah, that tank was putting in a lot of work, but it was also getting a little bit of friendly fire. If Cure is able to trade armies, I think maybe he would have had a chance to come back in this game. He still has his third orbital command. He could still try to drone back up and throw on some mules, but again, all RagnaroK needs to do is not die.
Exactly. He just has to make sure he doesn't sustain any economic losses here for the next couple of minutes, next couple of moments before he remaxes. And so far, like, his drone count is more than okay. He's working on tunneling claws as well, because why the hell not? Because Cure isn't going to be holding on to scan energy. He's muling as much as he can right now.
Yeah, he has to. I mean, despite all these mules, he's still behind when it comes to the income. It just really goes to show how much damage RagnaroK was able to inflict in his initial roach push. You gotta give props to Cure. He is doing whatever it takes to stay in this game. He is being as active as possible, but he misclicks a little bit with this drop and will lose a couple of Marines unnecessarily as well.
Yeah, a couple of those Marines are going to go down on the low ground. We do see him trying desperately to try and find a way in with these drops. And, he's doing a good job at, like, I guess, keeping RagnaroK busy, but RagnaroK, he wanted to be busy. He needed a little bit more time before he rebuilt his army. We do see Cure, he's got some nice SimCity with the depots. He has 2 tanks on the high ground.
Yeah, it's a pretty good position, but what about the natural base? Tanks aren't quite in position to secure that. RagnaroK will still try to fight this, however, and I'm not sure if that's the best idea. He's getting flanked by reinforcing Marines, and the tanks were getting a lot of damage in. Did RagnaroK just throw away an army? He did.
He just threw away like 40 supply. That was a very questionable fight there from RagnaroK, pushing up a ramp into tank fire without Lings to support. If you're wondering, the Lings were actually defending against the double drop across the map. But if you realize that you don't have Lings, then we back off. So that was a surprisingly good fight for Cure. He just needs that to happen again.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, it's very possible for him. Alright, I think Cure's back in this.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. But he has the opportunity. Here we go. He does force a cancel on this myth base. RagnaroK doesn't have a lot of anti-air to work with, so he's having a bit of a hard time dealing with these drops. Meanwhile, not for much longer, he's working on a hive. RagnaroK, I'm sure, wants to get into Vipers.
Yeah, Vipers. I guess he doesn't have Spire right now. But Vipers alone are pretty good, defensively anyway, a pretty good anti-air if you can get a Parabomb on top of one of these medevacs.
Definitely. Powerbomb yoinks as well, in case we want to drag them back within range of things like queens. Meanwhile, this double drop here towards the left-hand side, again, trading decently well against these lings, just keeping the attention of RagnaroK. And Cure is finding the breathing room here to expand and take a 4th base. He's still quite vulnerable. He still is kind of on a knife's edge right now, but, you know, he's doing his best to fight back.
He absolutely is. And look at that. Oh, this map is so small that it makes the sensor tower range look big.
There we go. The sensor tower is going to be covering that 3rd base. A large marine army looking to try and dive on top of these very exposed Ravagers.
And we'll be able to get some of them. There's a very vulnerable Roach Ravager army. The upgrades are starting to kick in for Cure.
Yeah, we can see Cure, he can just stand and fight. Every single ling is going to go down here. Oh, a couple of remaining. Cure is going to back off in the end. He's going to focus on the drop towards the left-hand side. Instead, he's going to pick up a queen for his troubles. Again, not bad trades for Cure. He just needs to get this 4th up and running, and he needs to hope and pray that RagnaroK doesn't counterattack.
Oh. Yeah, he needs to hope and pray that RagnaroK doesn't, go towards the north a little bit. Which he is, incidentally.
Yeah.
Turns around.
Does turn around. RagnaroK, he's just working on 3-3 as we speak. Looking at the units tab, there we go. I was waiting for them. Vipers are out. They're just sucking on some of these buildings, and they're going to be RagnaroK's anti-air of choice. Not a bad composition overall. Not badly upgraded either. Cure does have a moment here where he does have 2-2 against the 1-1 of RagnaroK. Oh god!
Holy. The target firing on those banelings. I mean, I don't think it was even target firing. It was just the fact that there weren't any Zerglings there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really goes to show you how effective these pure marines can be. Great blinding clouds on top of the tanks, though, and that was the little push that RagnaroK really needed to put his army over the edge here. Tanks at the high ground will do a pretty decent job of taking out these banelings, but a couple of them will connect in the end. And was there ever any doubt that RagnaroK is in the lead this game?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, he shuts down the 4th base. He cleans out the majority of those tanks. He can't quite keep pushing and break the 3rd, so he will be forced to back off. And he did lose the majority of his creeping queens as well to that counterattack, to the double drop. But RagnaroK is still in a commanding position. Like, his drone count is still insane. He kept his Vipers alive for the next round. 3-3 is about to finish up, or at least +3 carapaces. Oh boy, Cure is again just, I mean, I don't blame him for fighting the way that he is, just because his tournament life is on the line. You know, it's a best of 3.
I'm huffing that Cure copium personally.
You're like,
and I'm thinking that look,
Cure's winning.
Yeah, Cure's winning. Yeah, he's not that far behind. You know, he's got mules.
He's ahead, Poppy. He's got mules.
You know?
Yeah.
He's got mules.
Look at the spread.
Oh, the spread.
Oh.
In seriousness, though, I do think that because of RagnaroK's unit composition, it's not the most supply efficient. If Cure is somehow able to force an engagement into his siege lines, then I think he can trade well enough to turn this around, and there's no anti-air. These Vikings are able to take out a Viking, are able to take out a Viper. 2 Vipers even, with help from this Widow Mine.
Every Viper is going to be going down here, but we do have a couple of blinding clouds, and it looks like Cure is out of position. That tank spread was not here to protect the 3rd base, and it is going to be forfeit.
But he can just lift, Papi.
He can just lift, Papi, and he kept the majority of his SCVs alive as well. Cure, he's just fighting as efficiently as he can. Liberators are coming in as well.
Yeah, has to be very careful about the Liberator Siege, though. They're not quite in range of the tanks on ground, so they are vulnerable to, I almost said Ravager Biles. Oh yeah, to Ravager Biles. What am I? That's the correct term.
You're like, oh, I almost said the right thing. That's against my brand, Poppy. That's, oh my god, as the Liberators are going to be going down, we do see RagnaroK once again arguably overextending. Is coming in with some reinforcing lings, though. He wants to break him, he wants to get on top of these tanks, and it looks like he finally will.
I mean, you can see how inefficient lings are, but RagnaroK doesn't have to be efficient. He has a bank, he has mining. All he needs to do is throw army, at Cure and pick off key units here and there, and he will be advantageous enough to win that series, at semifinals even, 2-0. Well played.
GG. Very well played there. RagnaroK is going to be advancing on to the grand finals. And my condolences to Cure as well. Cure, he did an amazing job making it this far and taking down Hero. But here against RagnaroK, especially game 2, he gambled wrong. Like we saw, he if he wanted to, he could have set himself up to go for 3cc Banshee. The one game where he doesn't go Banshee, he's up against Roaches. And on top of that, he wasn't able to scout that Roach Warren either. So we saw how far ahead RagnaroK got with that first push, killing over 20 SCVs.
Yeah, definitely a very rough start here for Cure, but maybe that was why he was so fighting his heart out throughout the rest of the game, why he was really making it as close as way closer than it honestly should have been.
Mm-hmm.
So remember after RagnaroK threw away about 40 supply worth of roaches, and that was a little bit of a mistake from RagnaroK's part, but it was also a mistake that was forced from Cure. I really thought that Cure had it in him to maybe eke out a victory here, maybe bring us to our ace match, but it wasn't meant to be in the end. GG, RagnaroK will make it to the grand finals, where he likely will face a ZvZ, but might not, as we see another little upset here in the quarterfinals. Yumiho took out Dark 2-1.